What is going on, you guys? It's Suspect here, bringing you guys a brand new YouTube video. Now, I'm not showing my face for several reasons because one, I have a really weird pimple on the left side of my face that I don't want to show, but more than anything, my room is really messy, so it is going to be a casual gameplay commentary that you guys are used to watching from other people. But today, I do want to be talking about a subject that Face Attach brought up, and I also, Omniarch did bring it up briefly, somewhat, but I want to bring it more from like a standpoint from a player that does play competitive Call of Duty, whether that is team ladder, wagers, tournaments, lands, whatever. I want to talk about truly, is Infinite Warfare going to be a competitive game? Now, there are a lot of things that the game does currently have, flaws in the way map design is and everything that really affects the way the competitive flow is. So first off, I'm going to go ahead and start off with the guns. Are the guns competitive for the most part? I would say the ones that are viable and normal, yes. Those are pretty competitive for the most part. I think it's the ERAD. I could very much be wrong. That gun for the most part does seem pretty competitive. Nothing too bad about it. Some people would argue that it's overpowered, but I think it's whatever. The Karma, I think it's pretty good for the most part. The NV4 could be better, K-Bar good. Point is that guns that are standalone like that, those are really good for competitive. They can really be used. Now, if we're looking at a gun like the Evo, for example, this is where I think the game is going to fall apart, and the Type 2. So, in case you guys don't know, there are some hybrid guns in Infinite Warfare where if you press and hold down triangle, or Y if you're on Xbox, the gun transforms into a total different weapon. For example, the Type 2 turns into some akimbo pistols, and then the Evo, this is the one I'm most concerned about. If you use it in sub mode, it's really good. It's a really fast killing weapon. Not all that accurate, but if you know how to use it, it's really good. But if you press and hold down triangle to change it into assault rifle mode, what happens is that it then turns into a way much slower fire rate, and you're able to kill people from a long distance. And the thing is like you can try, for example, to kill someone with 4 bullets from the AR mode from a distance, and you can kill them with 4 bullets. But if you have the sub mode, it'll take about 6 to 7, maybe even 8 shots to kill them, from a distance. And that to me reminds me of the Ripper from Ghosts, and that's the reason the Ripper from Ghosts was banned. It's unfair that you can be an anchor at one moment, and then the next moment you are able to just challenge Hill, just in the blink of an eye. And I really don't think that's fair. This is why you have your designated players. This is why you have your OBJs, sub slayers, AR slayers, and such. The fact that you're able to switch in a moment's notice without having to respawn to do this really changes up the game, and I don't think is all that competitive. And I just don't think it should be used viably for competitive, and we haven't even seen the rest of the guns in this game. I'm not too sure how many other guns have this same tactic. Now, obviously, I'm pretty sure variants are going to be banned out because they were in Advanced Warfare, so chances are that is going to happen. And then if you look at also the Type 2, like I said, breaks out into some akimbo weapons, which you can challenge Hill and be completely, you can bombard people like that, so there is that. Secondly, I feel like the tacticals and the grenades and everything, they could use a bit of, more throwing distance. I feel like it's pretty mediocre for the most part. They are pretty strong, but mediocre nonetheless. Omniarch made another point about, footsteps, that you can't really hear them, and I agree with him for the most part. I feel like 85% of the time I cannot hear footsteps, but if it's in a lonely rural area of a map, I could, maybe hear it if I really try. But for sure, in any other Call of Duty like Black Ops 3 or even Advanced Warfare, where this quick movement system got introduced, you can hear the footsteps. And then even then, if you can't hear footsteps, you think, oh, you can still hear their thrusters. Wrong. You can use dead silence to suppress your thrusters. So now it's you can't really hear much. How much of a viable game mode is Search and Destroy going to be then? Now, my next concern is the map design. Attach really brought this up, and it was until he brought it up that I finally actually stopped and thought about it. What is it, Frontier, that space map? Terrible for competitive. I completely agree with him. That's it's a 3-lane map, yes, with a lane in the middle, and it goes horizontal. That doesn't really make any sense. And then I feel like the map is not all that interesting either, because they look the same from both angles, like the exact same. And I don't think it's that fun. Domination on that map is definitely going to be pretty boring, to be honest, on that map, excuse me, but we'll talk about that in a little bit. Also, throwback, thought that was pretty solid for the most part. Little bit big, but I think for the most part that one will be pretty okay for the most part. I still think it's too big. Frost, I feel like is going to be terrible for Respawn, but I can definitely see Frost as a very good search and destroy map. I still think that. I hate the fucking map for the life of me, but I think that map is going to be very, very good for search and destroy nonetheless. And also Precinct, too big. Way too big. Don't think there's going to be much going to be happening on that map, to be honest. I just honestly don't think that we're going to see much of the competitive standpoint there. The map is just too big, and no, it's got that 3-lane design and everything, which is fine, but still, like, I don't think it's going to be that great. Now, another topic that I wanted to bring up on was domination versus hardpoint, because you guys know that Infinity Ward traditionally uses domination as their dominant, no pun intended, respawn mode. As you guys know, for the past 2 years, for Advanced Warfare and Black Ops 3, the modes were domination, search and destroy, uplink, and CTF, and then search and destroy again. Now, this changed in Advanced Warfare with Hardpoint, and in Black Ops 2, it was also Hardpoint. That's when Hardpoint first got introduced. And I'm going to be honest, I prefer Hardpoint over Domination any day. Just the fact that I think it's more competitive and way more interesting to watch. So, my concern with Domination, all it is just a battle for B flag in middle of the map. And I don't think it's all that competitive in my opinion, because as soon as you gain control of B flag and your home base, just don't push the spawns and win your gunfights, and you pretty much have the whole game held down. And I think that's just not that interesting to watch. And then you might think like, oh dude, well they can always fight back, right, and get B flag. Yes, they can, but think about it. In Hardpoint, the second you lose a hardpoint, like Hardpoint is so unforgiving in this sense, because the second you lose control of Hill, the other team is immediately gaining points. Whereas in Domination, you have this announcer saying they're capturing B flag, and then you have a chance to just chuck a nade at the freaking flag and then kill them off, and then you're still good. Like, it just announces to the world what you're doing whenever you're trying to cap a flag. Whereas in Hardpoint, as soon as you're in the hill, they know you're there right away. But the second you lose control, that's unforgiving, because you're already losing out on points that you could have gotten if you would have won the gunfight in Hill. And aside from that, let's say for example there's 7 competitive modes, and out of the 7, 3 of them play domination. As long as you know how to get B flag first in all those 3 maps and hold on and know the spawns on each map, you'd have basically nothing to really practice for. Whereas in Hardpoint, same example, 7 competitive maps, 5 of them play Hardpoint, or 3 of them play Hardpoint, whatever, X amount play Hardpoint, and you have to know every single hill, because there's a minimum of 4 or 5 hill rotations all around, and you have to know how to anchor them, hold the spawns, how to break them. And this is what brings teamwork into Hardpoint. You guys have to communicate more. Who's pushing the hill? Who's fighting for spawns? Where are you guys pushing from? And as in Domination, push one up left, mid, and the other one stays back base. And no, it's not the way it's supposed to work. And this is why I really am concerned for Domination being the overall dominant respawn mode for Infinite Warfare. I really don't hope that's the point. You know, capture the flag, always loved it. Uplink, hope it stays. Search and destroy for this game, have high hopes for search and destroy for this game. I think it's going to be insane, because yes, a lot of people would say that Ghost competitive and respawn really sucked, but it was very, very fun to watch search and destroy. I'm going to be very honest here. Like, Blitz sucked, Domination sucked, and then I don't like the fact that it was in Ghost, it was Dom, S&D, Blitz, Dom, S&D. Like, don't repeat it. There's got to be a mix of things, because then that means players have something more to practice on, and then there's a bigger advantage here. It's like, there's no point in it. Because let's say this, Optic versus FaZe. Optic is the dominant respawn team, FaZe is the dominant S&D team. And then in Blitz, it just goes down to decision, right? So then let's say Optic takes the Dom, FaZe takes the S&D, Optic then takes the Blitz. What's going to happen then when it goes back to Domination? Everyone already knows that because Optic did really, really well in the Domination, they're going to take the series over FaZe. Does that make sense? I don't think that I think like the fact that Search and Destroy is a repeating game mode, that's fine. Search and Destroy to me, probably the most competitive game mode in Call of Duty, and my personal opinion, it makes or breaks, you know, wins and losses, and it makes players also. You make yourself known in search and destroy for that reason. And the fact that they have it repeated, that's fine by me. I don't like the fact that they repeat respawn modes. It should be mixed up a little bit. This is why pros practice S&D more, because this is the mode that makes or breaks players for the most part. So that's why I think that for that reason, they, for one, should not repeat domination like they did in Ghosts. And secondly, I really think they should keep hardpoint over domination for competitive Call of Duty. The time to kill, to me, I mean, I can kind of see how people are saying it's fast, but I mean, I didn't really notice it. I thought it was fine, so I don't have much to say about that, to be honest. And also, another thing that I want to mention, I'm more than sure there's going to be this option in custom games, but the fact that you can change rigs mid-game, out of the question, out of the idea. You cannot have that at all. So let's say you're playing uplink and you have, I don't know what the quote-unquote overdrive ability is here in Infinite Warfare, but let's say you're trying to grab the ball and run the uplink ball to the uplink station. You use the overdrive ability, but let's say you're kind of feeling yourself, your gun skills on point this game, and then your teammates not really doing so well. What if you change the rig to the eraser or to the claw? You can use those specialists, like you can change them and just change your playstyle like mid-game as soon as you respawn. This one you do have to respawn in order to change it up. That to me already seems uncompetitive, but what seems even bigger bull in my opinion, which like I said, I think there's gonna be an option to take it off, and this might be a bug, but I really do think that this is just unfair. Like one time I noticed that you could change rigs, and I was like, what the heck, you could change rigs? And I was using Synaptic and I was using the equalizer, so I wanted to try out the eraser, right? So I decided, okay, let me try it out, let me go ahead and change. So I decided to change it only to find that my progression through the equalizer immediately transferred over to the eraser. And then I decided, okay, maybe that's a bug, let me go ahead and see if it does it when my bar is completely filled. And it does, it transfers over, and it doesn't make sense. That cannot be in competitive whatsoever. That's stupid. Like, that's like, imagine that you using a certain rig with the Evo in domination, and then like immediately you're like an anchor or whatever, and then all of a sudden it's like, oh yeah, let me just go ahead and change to the claw so I can break hill, and then let me go ahead and change the Evo to sub mode. Like, no, not how it's gonna work. I don't think that's gonna be able to work, but like I said, I'm more than sure Infinity Ward is gonna take that option off. Those are pretty much my thoughts on the competitive side of things, guys. Hopefully you guys did enjoy the video. In case you guys did, make sure to leave a like, rating, subscribe if you haven't already. And also, if you guys have your own opinion, just go ahead and leave it down in the comment section below. I'm more than willing to talk to you guys on Twitter or here in the comment section. I'd like to have conversations about competitive Call of Duty with people. And I'm sorry that the video was long, but I just wanted to voice out my opinion. So thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.